Hello, everybody. A very warm welcome to the latest edition of News Talk. It's that time of the week again where we choose three hot stories, we discuss them, and we ask, what do you think? So I'm Stephanie, and as always, I'm delighted to be joined by David. Hi, David.
Hi, Stephanie. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, as Stephanie says, we're going to be talking about three hot topics in the news, and we want to hear your opinions about these topics.
Exactly, that's what it's all about. You practicing your English. So, myself and David, we're talking live. It's not scripted. We choose three different stories every week. Lots of really nice vocabulary around these topics as well. Hello, Yusuf. Thank you for joining. And what we want to know is, what do you think? So let's
Yeah.
find out what our three stories are going to be.
Yeah, some really good vocabulary, important vocabulary this week. So, a really serious topic to start with. We are asking, should assisted dying be legal? And is it legal in your country?
Now, we chose this topic, as David said, it's a little bit controversial, but it keeps making news headlines. So, as always, it's really important to have the vocabulary to be able to discuss topics like this. So, please do tell us, what do you know about this? What do you know about your country? Story number two, of course, is something completely different. We're talking about Microsoft, specifically Bill Gates's ex-wife. Now, she has a lot of money to spend. Any ideas what she's going to spend it on? That's story number two.
Yeah, and what would you spend that kind of money on? And then finally, something light or possibly not too light. We're asking, because this is important news in the United States, how much will a burger, four nuggets, fries, and a drink cost in the US for the month of June from McDonald's?
Yes, so something completely different in story number three. We're going to go back to the beginning though and start with our first topic. Now, as we said, it's a very serious topic. It's a controversial one. There are people with polarized views. It evokes a lot of really strong emotions here. But as I said, these types of stories have been coming up again and again, and this is why we chose it, because you need to have the vocabulary to be able to express yourself and express your views. So the question we're asking is, should assisted dying be legal? What do you think?
Yeah, and the reason for this, that in the Isle of Man, and this is a small island that isn't part of the UK, but it's between Britain and Ireland, and it's a tiny island, which what we call is a crown dependency. So it has a lot of independence, but the people who live there are British citizens. So one thing they can do is make some of their own laws, and they are making this law to make assisted dying legal there. It isn't in the UK, but it will be there. So what do you think about this?
And again, as I was saying to David, I mean, when you start researching this, it's very, very interesting the different laws that countries have, and the countries that already have this in place and have legalized assisted dying in certain circumstances and for certain groups of people.
And I think that's the point. So really the definition is really important of these. So assisted dying in this context means it's a situation where somebody who is terminally ill and they're looking to obtain the drugs, the lethal drugs that they can administer, they can take themselves to die.
Absolutely, and a hot topic, big debate. I think this is not a new debate, is it, for the medical profession? And a lot of doctors, as I said, really polarized opinions here. Some doctors say, in their conscience, they couldn't ever agree with this because it really does represent an absolute shift in medical practice and medical ethics. So certain groups of doctors are completely opposed to this because they say it doesn't represent what a doctor should do.
And also because it isn't 100% safe, secure, that you know this is the right result. So, and one of the big issues is that, vulnerable people could become subject to this. And that's, it is it is, as Stephanie says, it's polemic and it's a very, very difficult issue. I think it's also important to explain the difference between, this assisted dying and euthanasia. And the whole thing, the whole difference, because euthanasia has been a big, big, big topic for many, many years. And again, assisted dying is legal in far more countries than euthanasia. And the difference really lies in that you don't necessarily have to be terminally ill to have. Do you have euthanasia or to be administered? So euthanasia is basically deliberately ending a person's life for some reason that they agree to.
Hello, Thomas from Greece. Thomas, let us know. Do you know any information about your country, what the laws, the rules are there? We'd be very interested to know. So, of course, as always, we do try to present a balanced viewpoint here. We know we're not saying we agree one way or the other, but thinking about it from a balanced perspective. And we've talked about the negative points, but of course, there are a large proportion of doctors who do agree with this and say that actually it's a personal choice and that there are certain medical conditions that don't give you the quality of life, and that having death with dignity is actually something that they do believe in. So that's the other side of the
Well,
point
and,
here.
and added to that, yes, so you are relieving from suffering these poor people. And also, for the families, that emotional release for them. And as Simon's saying there, and this is about humane practices. Society permits that for animals, but it's a very difficult decision for when we're talking about humans.
Absolutely. And I think, David, it's a topic that's not going to disappear, is it? It comes up again and again because it's a huge moral and ethical debate. I mean, there's so many different layers. You talk about vulnerable sections of society, but on the other hand, there's the dying with dignity. And of course, it's something that people feel very strongly about.
Yeah, yeah, and there are, as Stephanie says, there are ethical concerns, and I think people are raising that issue, about the value of life and what is the role of the doctor and medical professionals in ending life. And also, of course, one of the big arguments is what we call palliative care, and that is improving all the time, and that is care specifically created for people who are terminally ill. They're helping them through that end of life process. But it's a huge, huge, huge issue, I think.
And of course, if you look at the countries that do allow some forms of assisted dying, and there are quite a few of them, I have to say, there are usually extra layers, extra requirements. It's not as straightforward as just approving something. Often they have to go through extra checks, extra doctors signing off on things. So it is a very complicated area, isn't it?
It's hugely complicated, but I believe some of the countries that do allow this are I've got Canada, the Netherlands, Switzerland, Germany, the United States, Australia, Belgium, France. So, they're quite diverse, quite a variety of countries.
Absolutely, and like we said, it's not an issue that's going to be going away anywhere. So very important to talk about it, to have that balanced argument, isn't it? Thinking about both sides of the coin here.
Indeed. Shall we look at the vocabulary?
Let's have a look at some of the vocabulary here. So, of course, there is no answer to this question. Normally, when we have a question, we reveal the answer. There is no right or wrong answer here. But what we have been talking about is the Isle of Man, as David mentioned, that island between the United Kingdom and Ireland, and they've moved a step closer to introducing assisted dying.
Yeah, and this is restricted solely only to people who are terminally ill. And that means that they are in a way that cannot be cured, and eventually they will die, and often very slowly and possibly painfully, uncomfortably.
And the second word we've chosen here is vulnerable. So those that oppose assisted dying, saying it's a great risk for vulnerable people. If you're vulnerable, you're somebody who could be easily physically or mentally hurt or influenced. I think that's the key word here, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think Stephanie quoted a piece from a doctor who talked about his conscience, that in his conscience, he doesn't believe you can make this 100% safe. And the conscience is that part of you that judges how you're morally, how your own actions are, and it makes you feel guilty about bad things you have done or you feel responsible for.
Good point Simon has raised. Money is also a factor. Continuing treatment is costly, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, and I think you're right. I think in the future this will become increasingly common. You know that people don't like to talk about the financial aspect, but it affects families and it affects societies. So how will we manage as more and more people come into this position?
Some good feedback there from everybody. Thank you. We'll move on, but like I said, I think this is a topic that's not going away anytime soon. Let's move on though to topic number 2. Now, there is an answer to this question, and we are talking money. We're talking a lot of money. I mean, $12.5 billion. That's not even a lot of money, is it, David? It's a huge, unimaginable amount. I can't
To,
even
to us.
to
So
us. Yes.
So in the picture there, we've got a picture of Melinda Gates, who's now Melinda French Gates, and her now ex-husband, Bill Gates, part founder of Microsoft. So extraordinarily rich, but they divorced about 3 years ago, I believe,
2021. Yes.
in 2021, and as part of her divorce settlement she received billions apart and this extra 12.5 billion pounds which she wants to use for certain causes.
And of course, we should bear in mind that she probably already has several houses and cars. And so she's not going to need to spend the money on things that perhaps if I won the lottery, I might choose to spend my money on. She's in a completely different league, isn't she, David?
Yeah, but she was already together with Bill Gates. They formed the Gates Foundation, which has supported many societies, many causes with billions of dollars over the years. So they are both very philanthropic. They are really appreciate and want to help society on that level. But now after the divorce, she's decided that she's leaving the foundation and she's going to pursue her own agenda, and she's going to be doing other projects. Any ideas where she's going to be spending all this money?
Yes, let's have some ideas, please. So, how will she spend all this money? It's a lot of money, but as we said, she's probably got a lot of the things that we might originally think of. So, let's think of the bigger picture of helping people. What
Well,
kind of
yes. So what areas? Okay, tomorrow somebody gives you $12.5 billion. What would you do with it? Any ideas? Anybody? Any suggestions? Have you got any idea? How would you, Stephanie, if I you are Belinda, no, Melinda even, I keep getting your name wrong. Melinda French Gates, as she is now, what would you spend your money on? Ah, Amelia, thank you. Some interesting ones.
Hi, everybody. Sorry, we seem to have some kind of technical issue there, which just goes to prove that we are live. Um,
Is it like, can you
Back
see
again. I
me?
can't, David. No, I can't see you, David. Um, I am here. I can't see David. I'm trying to get the slides back up. I do apologise. I don't quite know what the issue was. Hello. Thank you, Yusuf. Thank you, Amelia. Yeah, that was a bit of a technical stress there. I'm back. I can't see David, but I think we can hear you, David.
Yeah, you can. I can hear you. I can't see anything, but I can certainly hear you.
Perfect. So I'm just having a look back at the chat to some of the comments that obviously I missed. So some very good guesses. Amelia guessing lots of options there. Amelia, children, education, feeding people. Yusuf saying supporting people. I think that's a very good guess there, isn't it, David?
I think they're fantastic ones. And other ones might be the environment, conserving the environment. And two big areas is relieving poverty, helping lift poor people out of poverty, and also, oh, I can see you now, um, providing clean water to everybody.
David, you're back.
Oh, how nice.
I can see you. Perfect. So, should we have a look at some of the vocabulary from this topic?
Yeah,
Let's see if we can go to the vocabulary for this topic. Here we go. So the answer here that Melinda, French Gates will pursue her own philanthropy. So good causes. She's going to be doing a lot of good with this vast amount of money.
yeah. And as we said right at the beginning, she had a divorce settlement. And the settlement are the conditions on which money or property is given to somebody.
And philanthropy, that's a nice word, isn't it? It's the practice of helping the poor and those in need, especially by donating money.
Yeah, the adjective would be philanthropic. Philanthropic. And then we also mentioned that she was, with her husband, part of the Gate Foundation. And a foundation is an organization that's established to provide money for a particular purpose or cause, for example, scientific research or for charities, like in their case.
So let's move on then to our final story, shall we? Story number 3. So we're talking McDonald's here. Now, something for you to guess here. Look at this menu. We've got a McChicken burger, 4 nuggets, some fries, and a drink. Now, any ideas how much McDonald's are going to sell this menu for the month of June, but only in America?
So obviously, this is a very, very special offer. So what we want to know as well, A, or number one, do you eat fast food? Do you eat McDonald's? What do you think of it? And number two, how much do you think this meal will cost in the US? And how much does it cost in your country?
So I'm just typing the questions up there so we can have a look at them. So do you ever eat McDonald's? Is it in your country? Because I have to say, doing this research, McDonald's certainly isn't in every country, is it? Whether for a variety of reasons, but yes, not in every country. So, is there one in your country, or is the brand, sorry, in your country? Do you go there, and what do you think of it?
I have to say, I don't. I am not a McDonald's fan. I'm afraid that kind of fast food, I just don't believe it's good for us.
Yusuf, I stopped eating McDonald's 6 months ago. So Yusuf also has quit. I'm not sure you ever started, David, but Yusuf has quit. Has quit McDonald's.
Good.
Amelia used to work on the IT help desk for McDonald's in the Czech Republic.
Wow, that's impressive.
So, any ideas how much this meal is going to cost? Look, it was quite a few things on that list, wasn't there?
There is four things, and of course they are supported by the drinks companies, especially Coca-Cola. So you will probably get, you know, Coca-Cola with your chips or fries and your chicken nuggets and the burger. I mean, in our country, that would cost quite a lot of money, I think.
Yes, and now McDonald's say that they've always been focused on meaningful value. And they've recognised the fact that obviously the cost of living, the cost of living crisis, people are feeling the crunch in a lot of countries. So they're trying to focus on affordability in offering people more for their money.
Now, that's really nice. And no doubt it will help them against their competitors. And it does mean that people who have very little money will have the opportunity to eat there. But I'm afraid I'm still concerned about the nutritional value of what is on offer. This is all not very good for your health, I think.
Well, Amelia maybe can give us more information, David, because Amelia has seen the whole process of the food preparation. So maybe Amelia can give us some insider knowledge.
Oh, yes, please.
And interestingly, do you know how many countries do not have any McDonald's in them, David?
Not many, I would have thought. Maybe 20.
123
What?
have no McDonald's.
Oh, that's a
Quite,
surprise.
yeah, quite surprising. Some perhaps for quite obvious reasons, but some less so. And again, I don't know whether the statistics were a little bit out of date, but some surprising ones, like Iceland, for example, no McDonald's on Iceland apparently. Yep, Simon, Bangladesh was also on the list. No McDonald's in Bangladesh.
Oh. But I think often the countries do an imitation, don't they? You know, and
Well, there
just,
can be that as well. Yes, competitors.
yeah,
It's very popular in Europe. You're right, Amelia. It is. I mean, of course, the most popular country, America and Canada, but
yes,
very, very popular in Europe.
yes. So, Stephanie, do you go to McDonald's?
Well, David, I don't think it's going to surprise you, but no, I don't go to McDonald's. I do enjoy my food, but no, I'm not a big fan of McDonald's. I can see its attraction for people. They do the limited offers, don't they? Yeah, Amelia, a lot of people like the milkshakes. Personally, it's not somewhere I usually go.
And I think this it is a food giant, and it has such effective marketing campaigns that it attracts particularly young children who go there not just for food but for toys and experience. And it's a brand, and it's almost like, well, if you don't go to McDonald's, then you're missing out.
And absolutely, I think somebody talking about different products and different tastes in different countries, absolutely. And they do a lot of advertising, special limited editions, special sauces, special burgers. And I presume that is very targeted towards each individual country.
Yeah, yeah, well, they're very clever, aren't they?
Shall we have a look at the vocabulary then, David?
Indeed.
Okay, so just $5. This is a value meal. The McDonald's £5, sorry, $5, I should say, value meal is coming in June and staying for just 1 month.
So the question is, do you think this is good value? So value means how much something is worth compared with its price. So $5 for all that food, that good value. I think many, 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 many people will think so. I don't, but they do, and that's fine.
And McDonald's, of course, a giant in the fast food industry, a giant being a very large and powerful organization.
And what McDonald's says is they are all about affordability, to be affordable. And affordability is the fact of being cheap enough that people can afford to buy it. They have enough money to buy it.
Yusuf, exactly. Yes, there are lots of competition. I think I've heard of this. Is it called the In and Out burger? Maybe I have heard about this, and often chains that are popular and big in America eventually do come over to the UK.
Yeah.
And I think after our technical difficulties there, David, that brings us to the end of this edition of News Talk.
It certainly does. I'm we don't know what's happened here. We're very sorry for the interruption, but thank you for staying with us. And hopefully, last next session next week, before we finish for the summer, uh, will be problem free.
We certainly have our fingers crossed for that because we don't like technical difficulties, do we? So it does prove that we're live here, and we do appreciate you staying with us. So big thank you, and as we said, hopefully next time no technical issues. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next Monday.
Okay, bye bye.